and welcome into another round of Math Party, people. Anderson here, your math coach, and in this video, we're doing another round here of Law of Exponents mixed practice. This time, we're blending in a lot more than just two topics here. We're blending in the quotient law, as you can see. We have the power of a power law here. We also have negative exponents, and we have the product of powers law of exponents. So everything all together. And so this is the second to last video in the series. In the next video, we're gonna ramp it up and do even harder problems where we have even more variables. So for right now, let's go ahead and remember, if you're in the course or program, you have those worksheets up next. You're gonna have those speed drills to help you really assess yourself and build your speed and confidence. So take advantage of that. I keep saying it, I gotta stress it every single time you watch a video because it's the students who go ahead and use these features of our program and courses the right way, they always pass. They always pass, they always get the job done, so I want you to do the same. All you have to do is put a little bit of effort, everything is lined up for you. Let's go ahead and get started here. So, we have ourselves a lot, right? There's a lot going on, but remember, stick to the basics. One thing at a time, make sure that you're applying the rules appropriately, and just keep going one step at a time here. So let's analyze before we do. Don't be hasty. Just take a look here. What do you notice? Anything convenient? Absolutely. What I notice here is that we have, all of this to the power of 0. When we have something to the power of 0, what's the result going to be, my party people? Always going to be 1. And so with that, this right here is going to be 1. Because remember, anything to the power of 0, anything at all, anything to the power of 0 is 1. So I can immediately rewrite this as 2xy to the power of 10, same thing up top. Before we continue, just want to take a quick moment to thank you for watching this video. And all I ask is that you please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. That way more people just like you can see these videos. But on top of that, if you're looking for more ways to practice the right way and raise your score with guidance without stressing, then I really wholly 100% recommend my ASVAB All-Access Program. The program, long story short, helps you watch, practice, and master every topic from the word knowledge to paragraph comprehension, arithmetic reasoning, math knowledge, general science. It's there and it's designed to help you succeed with practicing the right way. So with that said, check out the link in the description to see how it all works because you're gonna have ways to learn in every way that you prefer. And you get my guidance and my support all the way until you pass. So don't hesitate. Stop feeling nervous and being anxious and letting yourself feel that way when there's a solution waiting right here for you. Check out the link in the description. That way you see how it works. And then reach out to me if you have any questions about it. Let's get back to raising our scores. And then we're going to have xy to the power of negative 8 in the denominator. Okay. And so from here, what else do you notice? Oh, look at that. My x's can actually cancel out. This is becoming a lot easier of a problem than I thought, right? And what else do you notice? Hey, we have a negative exponent on that y right there, that y to the power of negative 8 right there. Guess what? We can make that a y to the power of positive 8 by moving it to the numerator. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So this right here, I'll move it to the numerator, just like that. And again, that's the negative powers law. So if you need to go back into the series of these videos and rewatch each individual rule, seriously, do it. I'm not going to go over the rules in detail here because I've already spent extensive time, 20 plus minutes per each of those videos to make sure that you're good to go. So get back in there and watch it if you need to. Don't just stay stuck. So now we're going to have 2y to the power of 10 and we'll place the y to the power of 8. And in the denominator, what's left? It's just a 1. So if it's just a 1, we can actually get rid of the whole fraction as is and we're good. So now we just have to apply the product of powers law, which means, hey, y to the power of 10 times y to the power of 8, that's going to be y to the power of 18. So that's going to be 2y to the power of 18, and that is our final answer. So notice, every single problem that you think is too complicated is just a series of steps, small, simple steps that make it complicated once you add it all up together. So let's get into some more problems here. Let's keep going. Let's see what we can do. All right, number 77 here. I'll let you take a quick screenshot or pause the video so you can try it out yourself. But now, let's get to work here. So, here's what we got. we got ourselves all this mumbo jumbo, and to be honest with you, so this looks pretty fishy because at some point we're gonna have to do 2 to the power of 9, and that doesn't look like too much fun. But we can actually mitigate some of this if we apply our power laws correctly. So first of all, let me go ahead and take care of business with that parentheses, and then take care of any negatives that I might see also. So first of all, let's go ahead and take care of that parentheses. What's going to happen is that 9 is going to distribute its exponent to the other exponents. So what happens, my math party people, is that we're going to have ourselves 2 to the power of 9, and then we're going to have y to the power of negative 9 times 9, which is negative 81. So from here, one other thing that I do want to address is having the negative exponent on the y to the power of negative 3 and y to the power of negative 6. I can simply bring those down to the denominator to make those exponents positive, and I'll absolutely do that. So we'll have ourselves y to the power of positive 3 times y to the power of positive 6. Everything else we'll leave as it was, with the exception of, notice that we have 2 times 2. Yes, 2 times 2 is 4. I completely agree. But here's what I'm going to do, knowing that I have a power of 2 in the denominator. I have a power of 2 in the denominator, so I'm going to try to keep a power of 2 in the numerator to simplify much easier. So watch this. I'm going to make that 2 squared. 2 times 2 is 2 squared, right? Yeah, we know it's 4. I know. But keep it as 2 squared for a brief moment, because if you do, again, you'll see that this becomes a little easier for you. And then we still have that x to the power of 10 right there. So we'll go ahead and rewrite it. Okay, so let's go ahead and fix the situation here. I also noticed that we have a y to the power of negative 81. I'm going to make it positive by putting it in the numerator. So I'll just go ahead and take this, honestly. And I'm just going to go ahead and move it up top. I'm just going to move it up top and get rid of the negative. Seriously, that's how it works. You're fine. But here's what I wanted you to look at, my math party people. First of all, right here, notice how we have 2 squared and 2 to the power of 9. We have the same base. This whole time, you've been used to just the variables, but it could work with regular numbers as well. We can apply the quotient law to this because we have the same base, 2, and then we'll subtract those exponents. 2 and 9, the difference between 2 and 9 is 7, and so what we'll have is 2 to the power of 7 in the denominator. So that's going to make it a little easier once I expand this, because I'll be able to do the 2 times 2 times 2, not 9 times, but just 7 times, which does make it a little easier. So from there, what else do we have? Well, that x to the power of 10 stays up top. Nothing's going to happen with it because there are no other x's. But over here, I noticed that we have y cubed and y to the power of 6, and that becomes y to the power of 9 because you add the exponents when you're multiplying powers. Next up, well, we forgot to rewrite the y to the power of 81, but that's no problem, because now what we'll notice is once we're here, look at this. We'll now apply the quotient law of exponents, saying 81 minus 9, and that will give us 72 in the numerator. So we still have x to the power of 10, y to the power of 72 in the numerator, and then we still have 2 to the power of 7 in the denominator. So let's take a brief moment and figure out what 2 to the power of 7 is. So here, 2 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to go ahead and just simply perform some mental math where I can. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, 16, 32, 64, 128. Just keep doubling. 128 is what we have there, and that should be our final answer. Just like that. And there it is. Option D, and we are good. So again, notice, we didn't do this all in one step. We took 3 brief moments to apply different sets of rules at our pace, and we're good. Let's go ahead and try another one out, my math party people. Let's go. Let's check this one out. This one looks pretty complicated, right? Looks like something that you wouldn't enjoy doing very much, and that's why we're going to do it. So let's zoom in here. Let's see what we can do. I immediately noticed that we have a power of 0, a power of 0, so that's going to be nothing for us. We're good. And so what this becomes is we're just going to actually have v to the power of negative 6 and v to the power of negative 1. If we apply our product of powers, we add those exponents, and that's actually going to be v to the power of negative 7, because negative 6 plus negative 1 is negative 7. Yeah, we can do that. We absolutely can. There's nothing stopping us. Just because we have negatives involved doesn't mean we're not supposed to do it. You can still do it. And so from here, let's go ahead and expand this exponent. Let me change the color here so you can see it better. Let me try some flashy green, I guess. So here, this 8 is going to distribute to this exponent, and this exponent. And so what we'll have, my party people, is going to be 2 to the power of 8 times u to the power of 2 times 8, which is 16, v to the power of 9 times 8, which will be 72. Let's keep it real, my math party people. I know that watching these ASVAB videos on YouTube is great, but what if you could join me live for a free class once a week? I do have free classes live once a week for 2 hours apiece for ASVAB math, so why not join me? Click the link right here. That way you can join me, raise your score for free, and keep kicking butt like you're doing right now. Let's get back to the action, but I hope to see you in class soon. Click there and let's get started. Nothing crazy yet. The 2 to the power of 8 might be the only annoying thing. But from here, now what I'll go ahead and do is I'll move this to the denominator. Because it's a negative exponent, I want it as a positive. Let's go ahead and get that done. So when we move it, we're going to leave a 1 up top because the coefficient, even if you don't see it, is always going to be 1. So booyah, there's that. And then we have 2 to the power of 8. But if you remember from the previous problem, this was again 2 to the power of 7. So to do 2 to the power of 8, so we'll just start off where it was. 128 was 2 to the power of 7, times another 2 is 2 to the power of 8. 128 times 2, 256. I am not doing the same work twice. That's going to be 256 right there. And from here, again, we're going to have u to the power of 16, v to the power of 72, and then we're going to have v to the power of positive 7 right there. Booyah. And so my math party people, the last step here is simply to combine these 2 pieces here using that product law of exponents, and we're done. So our final answer will be 1 over 256 u to the power of 16 v to the power of 79. And there, our final answer will be B. Booyah. And so I'll go ahead and do a couple more here for you. I got your back. Let's do a couple more. So let's go ahead and go over number 79. Okay, this one's going to look like it's a lot, but at the same time, we always want to understand what we can simplify where we can. So if you're asking at any point, hey, coach, can I, if I wanted to, simplify this part and this part first before I do the parentheses? Yeah, because remember, when you apply the power of a power law, it only affects this. It's not going to affect everything else. So you can do this whenever you're ready, and you can simplify these if you'd like to first. You could. Because if you immediately notice, we got a 2 up top and a 2 on bottom. Those cancel out, full stop. And on top of that, we can apply the quotient law with the u and the quotient law with the v. You can absolutely do that. And so booyah, we can actually give ourselves a much easier time because look, notice, we're not going to have anything left in the denominator. The 2's cancel out. The u is going to be to the power of 4 because 10 minus 6 is 4 and you keep it up top. And then the v, you have 10 and 7, v to the power of 3. 10 minus 7 is 3, you keep it up top because 10 is the bigger number. And then you still have what that parentheses was. 2u to the power of 7, v squared, all to the power of 10. Sure, yeah, that looks fun. And I agree, it's definitely not fun. And so what we're going to do here, get that 10, distribute it here to the 2, the 7, the 2 there, or the 1 technically for the base of 2, and we'll keep getting the job done. So here we go. We'll keep that u to the power of 4, v cubed from the beginning. And now we're going to have multiplied by 2 to the power of 10. 7 times 10 is 70. 2 times 10 is 20. And I mix that up. I put v instead of u. So that's for u to the power of 70, v to the power of 20. And there we have it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, u to the 4th, u to the 70th. That's going to end up being u to the power of 74. And then over here, v cubed, v20, that's v to the power of 23. The last thing to do is just to figure out what the heck is 2 to the power of 10. And so again, we can keep playing off of what we did in terms of discovering in the previous problem what 2 to the power of 8 was. we had 256 for 2 to the power of 8. But I'm going to do it from the beginning just to kind of show you in good faith what's going on. So 2 to the power of 10, we're just going to multiply 2 by itself 10 times. So with that said, 2 times 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Cool. So with that said, we're good. I'm going to go ahead and just use some mental math and get it done. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1,024. Booyah. So that's going to give us 1,024. If you don't know your mental math, hopefully that's a good invite for you to really take it seriously. But the final answer here, my party people, will be B. Again, all these problems that you think are super complicated, it's just about taking it one step at a time. Let's do one more here and let's call it a day. So we have ourselves this one over here. Okay, go ahead and take a pause here if you want to try it out yourself, and let's get it done. So here, what I notice is, again, I'll take care of that parentheses in the denominator last. You can do it first or last, it does not matter, okay? You just can't sit here and say, oh, I can do that. No, you absolutely cannot. That's the only reason why I always say take care of a parentheses first, because you might be confused and do that. But the reason you can't do that is because this 2 is still inside of a parentheses, and you have to break the group before that 2 can interact. So that's why you can't simplify immediately like that. That's why. So let's go ahead and take care of business here. Immediately I notice that we have 2 and 2. So that's going to end up being 4, but you could also call that just 2 squared. Again, it's wise to keep it as a base and a power if you have the same base somewhere else. It might be a good idea because it might show you the simplification later. So with that said, booyah, we'll have 2 squared up top. I'm going to go ahead and do that in red. Up next, what I notice is, oh wait, we have ourselves here y to the power of 0, so that cancels out. Goodbye. Then we have x cubed over here and x to the power of 10, so that can be x to the power of 13. And then the y cubed from earlier, right there, we just repeat it as y cubed. Hey, really quick before we continue, if you're watching this, you've likely already been to one of my classes, and if you haven't been to one of my classes, remember to check that schedule. The link is right up there and in the description of this video. That way you can understand when my free classes are and my Access Program classes are. That way you can keep raising your score, knowing what topics we're doing, and get the job you want. So again, click there or in the description to see when the classes are and join one for free. I'll see you there, my party people. Let's get back to the action. Now in the denominator, if we want to take care of that parentheses with the exponent, sure, why not? Let's do it. So here we're going to go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to distribute. Let me go ahead and make it red or something like that. We can distribute that 2 to here and here. So what we'll have then, my party people, will be 2 to the power of 2, and then y to the power of 7 times 2, which is 14. Sweet. What advantage does this give me? Well, the advantage of seeing how I can simplify. And look at that patience being rewarded. 2 squared, you have the same thing being divided, that cancels out. And second, we have our quotient law of exponents right here and right there. So y to the power of 3 and y to the power of 14. Well, 14 minus 3 is 11, and we'll keep it y to the power of 11 in the denominator, because that's where the bigger exponent is. So our final answer will be x to the power of 13 up top, y to the power of 11 in the denominator, and we are good. I really do hope that this is making sense, my math party people, because remember, as complicated as things might seem in math, remember that it's really just an accumulation of a bunch of smaller steps. So that's why I always emphasize, focus on the basics and the foundation, because you can't build a house on mud. You must prioritize making sure that you understand the basics. Because if you start with the basics, then you can grow from there every which way that you can. And so, with that said, I'm Coach Anderson. We're going to have one more video right after this where we're going to go over just the most insane complex type of law of exponent problems that you'll ever hope to see. And if you can get these down, then guess what? Congratulations, you're ready to completely master this topic because you already have. And so, I'll see you later, my math party people. Coach Anderson out. You know I love you. Reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll see you soon. My party people, as always, thanks for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. That way you can see all the updates that we come out with so you can keep improving. So don't wait, subscribe now, and then while you wait for the next video, look here or there to see a related video that's gonna help you improve even more. Let's keep raising that score, and let's get the job we want. I'll see you soon.